Good morning, I'm Matt Scooby. This is CTV News Channel. Thanks for being with us. We start with U.S. President Donald Trump abruptly terminating all trade negotiations with Canada over an anti-tariff ad paid for by the province of Ontario. It's been airing on most major networks in the United States. Here is a bit of that ad.
High tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and the triggering of fierce trade wars.
The Ontario government paid $75 million for the ad that features the voice of former U.S. President Ronald Reagan from a radio address back in May of 1987. Now, the decision by Trump to end trade talks with Canada came just before midnight last night. On social media, Trump posting a statement from the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation saying that the ad misrepresents the presidential radio address and saying that based on their, quote, egregious behavior, all trade negotiations with Canada are terminated. Now, this morning, Ontario Premier Doug Ford responding, he posted a link to the original radio address, adding that Canada and the United States are friends, neighbors, and allies, and that President Reagan knew that we are stronger together. Now, Sprott School of Business Associate Professor Ian Lee says he doesn't agree with the Ontario government's decision to run the ads in the first place.
I think it was a high-risk strategy. And I didn't predict Trump was going to cancel the negotiations, but I don't think it was a good decision to run those ads. I don't think it was prudent. If the long game is not to punch Trump in the face, but the long game is to win a trade agreement, then I think this was a mistake.
And earlier this morning, Trump posting once again about the ad, doubling down in a way, saying Canada got, quote, cheated and got caught. Trump goes on to claim that Canada fraudulently said that Ronald Reagan did not like tariffs, which Trump claims he loved, even also claiming that Canada was trying to illegally influence the upcoming Supreme Court ruling on Trump's tariffs as well. So again, that's the latest for now. Moments ago, we did hear from Prime Minister Mark Carney before he got on the plane to depart for his Asian tour. I want to bring in CTV's Jeremie, who is live in Ottawa for us with the latest. Jeremie, one more step, one more late night rant from the U.S. president too on this. So what did we hear from the Prime Minister? Because he did not respond directly to the ad or if he had spoken to Ontario Premier Doug Ford.
Yeah, one more unexpected turn in this ongoing trade war with U.S. President Donald Trump. Or maybe it is expected at this point, Matt. The unexpected is the only thing we can expect. This is, I think, an absolute complication of the ongoing efforts toward, a trade deal or towards a tariff deal with the U.S., of course, because U.S. President Donald Trump has now said that, negotiations are off, things are terminated. To your point, the Prime Minister commenting this morning on this, on his way onto the plane. He's making his way to Asia. He'll be attending 2 summits there, but didn't address the ad, didn't address Donald Trump's exact comments. We'll let you listen into a little more what the Prime Minister had to say this morning.
We can't control the trade policy of the United States. We recognize that that policy has fundamentally changed from the policy in the 1980s, 1990s, 2000s. And it's a situation where the United States has tariffs against every one of their trading partners to different degrees. And it's in that context that our officials, my colleagues, have been working with their American colleagues on detailed, constructive negotiations, discussions on specific transactions, specific sectors, steel, aluminum, and energy. And a lot of progress has been made.
I think it was a very careful statement by the Prime Minister, Matt. You look at what he did or what he didn't say. He did not mention U.S. President Donald Trump by name. He did not mention Donald Trump's comments online and made no reference of the actual ad in case here. Really just made vague reference to the fact that trade policy has changed over the years in the U.S., through the 80s, through the 90s, and the 2000s. That ad featured a speech from former U.S. President Ronald Reagan in 1987. So he's making vague reference to the fact that, trade policy has changed over the years in the U.S., and focusing instead on the fact that Canada, can't control the U.S.'s trade policy, can only control what we are doing here. Made reference to the upcoming budget and the investments Canada will be making through that budget in, big projects here in Canada, and talked about bolstering relationships with other countries, including Asian nations, to which he is traveling right now. So an interesting statement from the Prime Minister, a very careful statement, and again, not really addressing any of the issues at hand directly.
Okay, CTV's Jeremie Charron live in Ottawa for us. Jeremie, thank you for this. We'll check in with you in a little bit. Let's